Hey boardies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today bringing a setup, play and review the game Undo, Weaving Fates New, Long Live the King. Now if you do check out my unboxing video for this, you'll see my full explanation about what this is particularly about, this particular story. Also, that's allowing you a chance to see that preview teaser trailer and of course what is inside via that unboxing. Aside from that, I also show you some other Undos just as for some comparison, but this one's going to be standalone. If again you want to see more of my rankings for all the others, please do so by going through to the playlist called Escape Room and stuff like that. Also my Pegs the Spieler playlist, I had a setup, play and review playlist, and those unboxing videos. So, in this particular game, you are looking to get your best score possible. It's a score out of 11, and your aim is to try and save the queen, keep the queen alive as the queen has died, and also to protect the king. So, you're going to lay out these cards. There's 13 of them in this 4K video, so make sure I've got enough space for all of them, which I will do here. You are going to lay these out as such. So whilst I'm doing this, please ensure you hit the like button and the notification bell in YouTube as well. Aside from that, please also go through and check out the description in YouTube as well, and you can see how you can support the channel via Patreon. You can also go ahead and follow on Facebook and on Instagram, over 2,400 posts, including there'll be a picture to do with this as well. So as you can see, I'm setting out these cards. It's obviously orientated towards myself, but it's obviously with multiple players. This is a 2 to 6 player game, although as with all the other games, you can play this solo, as I know some people have, and I don't know why they still haven't changed that. So you're laying out these cards. Now, as with the other games, it's always the 12th card that you flip over. So as you can see, there's some candles lit. So you're going to flip this card over, and it's about the royal banquet and the fact that the king has died, having drunk from this goblet. And you're then going to take these cards and leave them out to the side. These are the cards that you're going to investigate. You can have some clue cards. Now they do say to put them below it. I tend to put them on top of them. So you're going to place these out as such. And when you get onto the 12th card, you will be reading that 12th card as well. So this isn't something that you saw in that preview. So in the chalice card, it states, as requested by the king, his chalice was discreetly exchanged with one filled with water before his first sip. So interestingly, something is already going on there. A clue leading you to where you would like to go next. Do you want to go to the king's private chamber, on the castle wall, the tower room, in the forest, the audience chamber, in the confessional, in the stable, in the messenger bag, an abbey in the mist, a steep cliff, the tower room, or the place of execution, which is 3 days later? So again, the tower room's 5 days earlier. We can go 3 years ago, 6 months ago, 5.5 months ago, 5 months, 4.5, 3, 2 months ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 8 days ago, 5 days ago. So when do you want to go back in time to and try and change that fate? You'll be revealing a card, and when you reveal a card, it's going to give you some indication as to various things that could occur. So the example I gave before involved a dog. Let's switch it up a bit and talk maybe about a horse or something like that. So let's say, should the king ride a horse? Should the king give the horse to a friend? Should the king give the horse to the queen? So there's something like that, and you might think, "Whoa, don't give it to the queen because that's how she dies," for example. And if you pick that, for example, you're going to go through, imagine that was, for some reason, in the king's chamber, then you're going to reveal maybe the horse option for the queen, and it might be a 0. If it's a 0, it's because that's exactly what would have happened anyway. So you haven't changed fate, you've just left it as it was. So you now need to think a bit more deeper. And you think, well, actually, do I want to give it to the friend? Because the friend might, I don't know, teach the queen how to ride, which may be how she passed away or whatever. So in that instance, that could be a good thing. She might get +1 or +2 if it's particularly useful. But it might be a -1 if you did something else, whatever that other option I mentioned was, have the king keep it or something. Because if that's the case, it might be that, I don't know, it's caused resentment in the queen, and the queen's now wanting to learn herself, and that's how she gets injured. Who knows? But that's the kind of way it works. So once you have gone through these various cards, you're not going to go through all of them. You are going to actually have a little pile of 9 cards that you're going to go through. 9 times in time, you're going to go through 9 of these cards. And for each of them, you're going to spend one and go to one of these locations. And again, you can't go to all of them. And you think, based on where you've been, how relevant it is to then go somewhere else. There might be something to do with, again, it might talk about horses, and you think, well, you probably have a horse in a forest more than in a confessional, so maybe there's a reason you go there, unless, of course, there's some ambiguity about, who knows, their ability to ride a horse, maybe they lie, so maybe the confessional is relevant. So in this instance, you're going to try and think where is suitable to go, and you have these clue cards, as I mentioned. You also have 4 opportunities to spend these clue tokens to also go and discover them as well. So 4 of these. and they allow you to actually see if they can aid you, maybe in the card that you're on, to see if you can help solve which option should you pick, or you can go through to a prior card that you've already revealed and go to that location and use that clue for some reason, which could be of use. Again, once you have used up all your time tokens, you are then able to see what your final score was. You're then going to read the back of the storybook, which is basically these cards, and decide and see how well you did. So when we played, we got a score in the second to worst one. We got a score of 4, so 4 to 6 meant we didn't change fate. Obviously, we managed to change the story a little bit, but not significantly enough. This one was harder to read than others. I felt that sometimes there was some ambiguity about it, but luckily we did correctly predict a couple of things. Not that it might have been too relevant to it, but one of the first places we went to, which we thought was a suitable character, turned out to be not so suitable, shall we say. There's something else that's very new to this, which I did talk about in that preview as well. Rumour cards. There are 7 rumour cards, so you're not going to have them evenly distributed, but unless, of course, you played as a 7, which it could play as a 7, but I wouldn't recommend it. So you can hand out those 7 rumour cards face down, and from that you're then deciding, okay, when do you want to reveal this information? A bit like Game of Thrones, where they sort of whisper, and is information relevant or not? I won't say whether or not the information is always relevant or not, but I will say, why hold back on revealing it? Why don't you reveal it all up front, possibly? Although I do understand that there might be some conflict of interest if you wish to believe it. So there's that to take away from it. It's a nice change. My rating is a 7 out of 10, which isn't as high as some of the other ones. It is higher than average for me to play a board game, which is about 6.35 presently. But I have preferred others in the series, partially again because of how the story transpired, and I think the way that it was sometimes tricky to say, okay, well, we could have gone there, but actually it's harder to know where to go. I believe this is the final in the 3rd trilogy, so there might well be another one coming along. This came out in 2021. I've had this game for some time, but it's just been the case that it's when people want to play such a game, and that's basically how it's transpired. So this has been Undo, We've Invented New, Long Live the King. It's spot on with the duration, don't rush it though. And like I said, it's England in the Middle Ages. There's some really good, relevant thematic ties, though. And I particularly like the fact that I was watching the film Robin and Marion after, or partway in before and after the film, and obviously playing this game. And that's interesting because we have King Richard and people like that. So all these kings, it's only out by about 100 years, which back then, not a huge amount of things had changed. So very interesting. So that was Undo, We've Invented New, Long Live the King. Hopefully you find this of interest. Please let me know. And back to the table.